Hi, I'm Dave Dinkle. I'm here today with Henry Galliano. Henry is Cuban who came to the United States when he was almost 9 years old. Before he came here, he was a sheep herder. He gave that profession up because he hated to see the sheep's processed, I'm going to say. Now, the last a little over 2 years or so, you've been a full-time investor.
Yes.
You've done about 20 deals. And the reason I asked him to come by, and he said he was glad to do it, was I had done transactional funding on 3 of his recent deals. As I was talking to him about it, one of them was a $50,000 profit.
Yes.
Okay. Wholesale.
Wholesale.
We're not talking about anything else. I said to him, "Where'd you get it?" And he said, "Bandit signs." We all know that bandit signs don't work, but it depends on where you place them and what they say. So bandit signs have been very good to you.
Yes.
And you still use them. You're a bandit sign guy.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
One of the students called me before last weekend and said, "I want to put out bandit signs." And I said, "Great. How many?" She said, 25. And I said, "Oh, okay, that's a good start. Here's what it should say," because you can use bandit signs for buyers and use them for sellers. Her case, she was looking for buyers. So Sunday night, late, she called me back and said, "Oh my gosh, you can't believe what happened." And I thought she got incarcerated for putting out the signs. Not so. She had so many phone calls, she'd gone through 4 sheets of paper on a paper pad with names and so on.
Yeah.
And that can happen. I mean,
Yes.
it just depends on timing and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about sort of your career. You came from a background of doing...
Farm work, I guess.
okay, farm work.
Or herding.
but you actually...
More recently, I was a public adjuster.
Public adjuster, which was kind of a conflict of interest for you because if you work for the insurance company, it's a whole nother side of working for the public.
Yes.
And really, it changed your mind about how the public sort of gets taken advantage of, frankly,
Correct.
by the insurance companies. But you moved on.
I did.
You said to me you've been married almost 13 years,
13 years.
2 sons,
2 sons.
and you and your wife have always wanted to do real estate.
Always, ever since we got married.
Okay, and you got into it sort of part-time in the public adjusting, full-time,
Mm-hmm.
but you're into it now.
I'm into it full time, yes.
Okay, you told me a story about 2 deals that you did, one of which was a rehab
Mm-hmm.
and a corresponding short sale, not a short sale, a wholesale deal.
Wholesale. Mm-hmm.
And the profits on them. Now tell us the story about your rehab.
Correct. Well, the rehab, the profit was $6,000, and I did split that.
Okay.
So the profit was $3,000.
Now you split that with a funding partner? Who put
No,
up the money?
I split that with my brother. We were partners in that deal.
Okay.
And it was, I mean, rehabs are addicting. However, the amount of work that I put into that rehab, that we put into that rehab, was definitely not worth the time. I mean, it was very good experience. However, this short sale, it took about 30 hours, and it was a $50,000 profit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a no-brainer. From that moment on, I said I want to do wholesale. That's all I want to do.
How many months did it take you to do the rehab?
The rehab was fairly quick. The rehab took only 6 weeks until we had the buyer, and then there was a little complication with the appraisal. Then it took about another 2 months to close. So about 3 months, a little over 3 months.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible. However, it was very stressful. And then when I think about that rehab, which was $6,000, and I think about the wholesale that netted the least, which was $3,000, I take the wholesale any day.
Okay.
It was took me about 5 hours.
What do you think your average wholesale profit has been? Would you guess?
Average has been about $10,000.
Okay. So kind of a little on the low side, but that's probably
Yes.
because of your buyer's list.
Correct. And most of the wholesales that I've done, or not most, I'd say at least 50% of them have been other people's wholesales.
Okay, so you're reoffering other wholesalers deals,
Correct.
and you're reoffering those to your end buyer list,
Correct.
but you need a bigger list.
I need a bigger list.
Okay, we'll talk about that before you go, remind me. What else can you tell people? What other experiences you had that have been notable in your short career?
I say the best advice is read the material. follow through with it, and even if you don't believe it, follow through with it. And then you will believe it. I mean, I've had many experiences where, and if there's something that you're trying to do that's against the material, don't do it, because it's going to cost you. I mean, one of the things that I've read in one of the materials that you guys have, which I think it's about assignments or subject to, it says check the title first. Check the title first. And I knew I had to check the title first until an attorney title agent said, don't worry about it. And I insisted, I think I should check it first. Don't worry about it. When it was time for me to resell the property, there was a $30,000 mortgage on it, which was pretty much all my profit.
So you had to pay it off. You couldn't negotiate it.
I had to pay it off. I did negotiate, and that's actually the rehab where I made $6,000.
Oh, okay. So you would have made $36,000 had you not had
36, correct.
Wow.
Or I might have not gotten the deal, but it would have, you know.
So the attorney didn't pull a title policy
until it was time to close.
Yeah, well, that's
it was my fault.
That's
it was my fault.
malpractice, is what that is, frankly.
Yeah.
I don't know it's your fault, but he should know better.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes money on pulling the title work, so I don't know. We'll see. Now, before you came into our program, you had taken a very expensive program.
I did.
And it was kind of an eye-opener, but you didn't do any deals out of it.
I did. It was an eye-opener. I mean, I knew very little about real estate. It was a very broad program. I even had a mentor in that program for about a week. And even though I learned a lot, it was very broad. I didn't feel like there was a personal connection between me and the support that I got from the program. I felt that they were so far out from where I wanted to do the deals that their knowledge was either biased or maybe restricted by, I don't know, the law.
No, I don't think so.
It's just they didn't have the knowledge, and I mean, this program has really helped me because it was very personal. All it took was a lot of perseverance, and perseverance on my behalf, and just following through on the material. Like I said at the beginning, it's follow through. Even if you don't believe it at first, you follow through, and it'll work.
And it does work. One of the things I want to mention just before we leave, and I see this all the time, people ask me, does this work anywhere in the country? Well, my question is, why wouldn't it work anywhere in the country? One of the things that bothers me a lot is many of the other programs have documents, for example, purchase and sale agreement.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll have a purchase agreement when you're a buyer, so it's on your side, and a sell agreement when you got to sell, which is grossly weighted towards your best benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you always deal with a homeowner, and the homeowner never asks an attorney or a realtor to look at it, it's not a problem. However, if you're going to come into the real world and be a professional, you got to use your state bar association as well as realtor contract. That's the bottom line. You can lease it, you can get it online in many cases, it's free in some cases. You need to rise to the professional level of using the same contract that the other professionals in the business are doing. Those ones are funky, those other guru contracts I call them, but the biggest deals you're going to lose are the ones when you didn't realize you need a real contract. So
that's true. Yeah, the contract basically was one page. The one that I got from the other program is
pretty
one
simple,
page.
right?
Very simple, one page, and when in retrospect, it's very onerous. It's very the buyer can do this, the buyer can do that, the buyer can nothing about the seller. So I mean, it's definitely not. I mean, I don't recommend it at all.
No, if you're putting in an offer on a listed property, that contract's never going to go past the agent's eyesight the first time.
It's not.
Most states have somewhere, excuse me, between 5 and 20 pages as a contract. They have it for a reason. Actually, the reason is to protect the realtor, not to protect the buyer or the seller, even though they'll say that to you. So, Henry, no more sheep.
No more sheep. One more thing I want to brag about.
Okay.
The best, well, not the best deal, but the cheapest deal I've ever bought. $2,500 for a house that needed $2,000 worth of rehab.
What'd you sell it for?
I sold it for $12,500.
Okay. Yeah. So how did you find it, out of curiosity?
Bandit time. Bandit time.
And the
Wait,
land-
wait, the best part is that I negotiated down during a course of 6 months from $12,000 down to 2,500.
Oh, by the way, let's talk about the property that, in Keystone Point.
Oh, yes.
So the short sale.
Yes,
bank-
it was a short sale?
Bank wouldn't take a dime less than 800.
No, not at all.
$800,000.
800.
And here's a guy with no money,
Mhm.
right? No, credit doesn't matter. You're not going to get 800,000 to do the closing.
Correct.
So what we typically do is we get a contractor's estimate of repairs.
Correct.
The bank looked it over. Now, these are real estimates of repairs. These
Correct.
aren't mumbo jumbo
For
crap. that-
seawall, for kitchen.
Oh, seawall, okay.
For a structural installation of the windows. Things that, the typical person will overlook. However, an inspector can see, that these things have either not been completed or they have been done incorrectly. And that is material difference. So when you put that down, you realize you have, $300,000, $400,000 worth of repair if you're going to do it properly in that area, and we got a discount to $500,000.
Okay, and how much is the house worth today?
$1 million.
Okay, not a bad job. Now, I'm going to say one other thing. You bought a property with your mom, or you got your mom into a property.
Last month.
Okay, and it's her first property ever.
It's her first property ever here in the United States, yes.
Okay, nice. So
You're
you
very
take care
good.
of the family.
Yeah.
Thank you, Henry.
Thank you.